Peace and blessings. Thanks for stopping by Stindy Farms. Today is about 20 days out from the first frost, and so I'm going to be amending some of my beds today and planting some garlic. So come along.
Stindy Farms.
So y'all, quite honestly, I have not had a lot of success with garlic. This is what I planted, and I suspect that the reason why it really didn't grow big is because it was too late in the season. I should have done it the year before. It needs a chill period in order for it to develop, the bunches. So this is what it looks like. And don't think I won't eat this, but it's really underdeveloped. So this whole thing today is going to be an experiment. So we'll see how things go. Shout out to Allie from Organic Garden. She says you should soak your garlic. And so that's what I'm doing this year. I just took garlic from the fridge. And as you can see, some of them have even sprouted. So somebody put in the comments whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing when you're planting. And I'm soaking it in a bit of water. She used kelp fertilizer. I didn't have that. So I am using some comfrey fertilizer that I use, as well as the baking soda that she said to use, because that kills the bacteria. I'm going to be planting my garlic mostly in this bed here. This is where I planted greens last year. All of my lettuce and all of my green, like kale and radishes, etc. So I'm going to use this part of the garden mostly, but I like to plant things in different places to see how it fares. So I'll be clearing some of this out, not all of it, because y'all, I really hate to throw away plants that look healthy and can be used. So I'm not throwing anything out other than probably this gooseberry that's died back. I'm going to put some compost in this area, and then I will plant my garlic. So I started clearing out this bed, and I do apologize for the camera view. I thought I had more of the bed in the shot, but I'm just pulling up the gooseberry right now. And the kale that's behind me, I took that out as well. We had that for dinner. I also took the bell peppers that are behind the kale and put that in pots. My plan is to cut those back and store them in the basement for the winter. I then went on to my compost, and you can see, y'all, it is full of worms, and that's a good thing. I want to sift it because it's not fully composted. You can see there's a lot of large uncomposted pieces in there. So I have it on my sifter. I'm going to sift that out. And the worms are fine. I'm a little concerned about some of the other little bugs because they may, break down my garlic as well. So as I said, this is an experiment and we shall see. So I'm sifting out those big pieces. I'll put that back in the compost. And now I'm just shoveling out the composted matter into my bed. And as you can see, I added some sand to that because there was a lot of peat moss in this bed, and I noticed that it wasn't draining properly. So I added some sand to help it to drain. And I'm just going to put that in, as well as some fertilizer. And this is just some basic fertilizer that I'm using. And I'm using that so that when the garlic wakes up in the spring, it will have some nutrients in the soil. And I'm going to incorporate everything as thoroughly as I possibly can. So I'm just raking it all together and making sure that it's all even and fully incorporated. And once I do that, then I'm going to begin to mark my rows. So with a ruler and a piece of trim, I'm going to measure out 4 inches and just make a row diagonally. And what I'm doing is I'm going to end up with 4 by 4 squares that I can plant the garlic in the middle of each square. So once I do one direction, then I turn and I'm going to do diagonally across, and therefore I'll have squares to use. I planted probably about 60 cloves of garlic in this space, and I will probably repeat this in several other places in the garden. I do like to plant things in different areas so that, I can really kind of see what's successful where. Garlic loves sunlight, so I made sure that I planted in a very sunny spot. Now I'm taking the garlic that I used in my fertilizer mixture, and I'm putting that in the center of each square. Make sure when you're planting garlic that you plant the pointy side up so that, it grows properly. It cannot regulate itself if you plant it in the wrong direction. So, like I said, I had probably about 60 in this area alone. And I'm just going through the whole area and making sure that I hit every single square that I created with a piece of garlic. Now I'm just patting everything closed and making sure everything is nice and even. And then I'm going to water everything in and make sure everything is moist and watered well. Now I am putting some mulch on top and laying everything to rest for the winter months, making sure I have a heavy layer of this. And then in the summer, I'll pull this back so that the garlic has, the air and surface to grow. And I'm going to water this too because the leaves, tend to blow around. So I want to make sure I water those in as well. And there we have it. I made sure that I marked a stick so that I knew exactly what I planted there. And that way, in the spring, I won't be surprised. So I planted my garlic, I amended the soil, and I'm very hopeful of a good and prosperous harvest next year.